Welcome to Horn Takes, the best Texas football and baseball talk destination on the web. This is day drinking in Texas sports. That's what we do. That's what we do, babe. Ain't that right? Cheers.
That's, cheers.
What are you sipping on?
An espresso martini because I
All right.
started day drinking at like noon, and I gotta
Nice.
last till the end of this football game. So
That's right. Super
I
Bowl
need some
Sunday.
coffee.
So, for those of you that haven't seen this one, this segment of Horn Takes podcast is just about our experiences watching and traveling to games while we're day drinking. And we do a lot of day drinking while we're going to games. She is my special lady friend. She is a Horn Takes podcast contributor now. It's official. This is her second show. And she's my beautiful wife of 25 plus years. If she plays her cards right, it might just be special lady friend of the Horn Takes podcast. But right now, she's just a contributor to the Horn Takes podcast. We're working on an official X account for her because you got to have an official X account. I am Sean Redfern of the Horn Takes podcast. You can follow me on X at Sean_Redfern. You can follow the Horn Takes podcast on X and TikTok at Horn Takes. Subscribe and get notified at the YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our content at Horn Takes. We're going to be doing like 2 to 3 shows a week until football season. So make sure you join us for the bullpen on Monday nights at 6:30 p.m. Join us from the cheap seats on Thursday nights where we'll talk all about football at 6:30 p.m. And then we'll do this day drinking episode if I can keep getting her to do it, which I think we're going to be able to because she has a great time doing it. All right. You called this meeting. What are we going to talk about today, babe?
I don't know. Football experiences.
Football.
You
That's
just
right.
said
All
it.
right.
I
It's
mean, and
Super Bowl.
that this is it. This is. I mean, we're not big
I know.
NFL people, but this is the last football game,
It's,
and
it's,
for a
yeah, it's,
couple months.
yeah. If you don't like Canadian League and
Yeah.
XFL and whatever Arena League, whatever all the other kind of obscure football leagues there are out there, this is it for football, folks. I mean, honestly, for us, we've been done for a couple of weeks now because I don't know. I mean, we watched some of the playoff games. We'll have them on for sure, but
Obviously, we've been done for a couple
well,
weeks.
yeah, we
Yeah.
you've been done since like week 3 or 4, I think, is
Oh
when you
god.
finally said,
Yeah.
"I don't care, I'm not watching any."
Yeah.
Folks, my special lady
Sucks to
friend
suck.
is a massive Dallas Cowboys fan, and like she is the NFL person in the house. She's been a Cowboys fan her whole life,
Yes.
and it's been rough for her the last. Well,
Yeah.
I guess the last couple seasons have been pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, I've been raised a Dallas Cowboy fan. My dad is a die-hard Dallas Cowboy fan, and I've been raised since I was born to be a Dallas Cowboy fan. And, people love to hate them, and right now I'm hating to love them, but
Good call by the haters right now, right?
it's been a little rough, but yeah, I'm still repping my stuff. I
That's right.
die hard. I don't care, win lose, they're my team. And we just like the Longhorns, we've stood by them through some pretty rough years. So of course the Dallas Cowboys have had a lot longer of a stretch, but um yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
love
been
my
since
Cowboys.
I think it's been since 1996 since the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, and I
Yeah.
think that was the last time they were in the Super Bowl. I think that was the year they beat Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not a huge NFL guy. I go along for the ride with her when she wants to go on the ride because she is such a big fan. So Super Bowl Sunday, I know a lot of people are excited about that. Are you excited about Super Bowl Sunday at all? I mean, what's your
No,
thoughts on this Super Bowl? You don't care at
I'm
all.
not. I don't care at all. uh of course, can't root for the Eagles, obviously. And I'm really tired of the hoopla with the Chiefs. I'm really tired of hearing about the Chiefs. I was really hoping for, so it's, and every team I was rooting for in the playoffs lost because I just
Yeah,
wanted somebody other than those two teams to go. It was the Lions. And then, of course, the Bills made a pretty good run, and I was hoping for the Bills, and then they lost. So I was
yeah.
really hoping for a
Baltimore was
Bills
one.
Lions.
Yeah,
Yeah, in Baltimore. Yeah.
yeah.
So just
Washington. I think
sucks.
you even
This
kind of
is,
rooted for Washington because they
oh,
were playing Philadelphia, weren't they, in the
yeah. I
first
mean,
round?
it's like, how do you choose in that situation? But
I don't think you
I
do.
hate the Eagles more. So I
Sure.
mean, this game is really rough, and the only reason why we're participating is food and our friends and
Exactly. So
alcohol.
for those of you that didn't catch that, she literally rooted for every team that lost in the playoffs the
Literally.
entire way, every single team. So next year we'll probably talk about this some, and you guys can fade her on some bets, and you'll probably make millions of dollars
Yeah.
if you've got the kind of capital to throw at it, because it was pretty it was funny.
It
Uh,
was bad.
I mean, it was, the funny thing to me was like how pissed you would get about teams you
Oh,
didn't care that were
I know.
losing.
I didn't care. Yeah.
It was
Man,
good
it was
stuff. Yeah,
bad.
I am not a Super Bowl guy. I've got to the point where I just don't even like the commercials anymore. I feel like it's gotten so, it's gonna sound weird to say this. It's gotten so commercial and so like a uppity thing to go do. Like if you look at Twitter today or any social media, all it's about is all these famous people are there, and they're doing something that, I get it, man, but they wouldn't just go to a regular football game. I mean, if you're not gonna go to a
Yeah,
game in
exactly.
September, or you're not gonna
Yeah,
go sit in the freezing ass cold in Buffalo
exactly.
with snow and like negative temperatures and shit like that, what are you doing going to the Super Bowl? And it's because it's a who's who type event. It's like the Grammys or the, whatever. And that's the part I don't like about it. The people that really care cannot in any way possible ever get to a game like this unless
No, you
they,
can't afford it for one. I
well, that's
mean,
what I'm
come
saying.
on.
Like, and even I mean, we looked at tickets to the college football national championship ahead of all that. And I followed the tickets that entire week leading up to it, and they got down to $3,500 a ticket in the
Mm,
nosebleeds. And so again, regular people that are just diehard sports fans, they either got to take out a loan. I mean, I don't know how a lot of these people do it and just absorb it, but that's not usually what happens. It's usually a bunch of people that honestly just don't care. So if you
yeah.
can't get tickets through your school, if you're a a donator to your school, which we are, and we're not like big time at all. We've gotten tickets to a few things in the postseason, but we probably wouldn't have gotten national championship tickets unless the draw was just really big, and I don't even know what it was. Who's doing the halftime show this year of the Super Bowl? Do you even know that?
Uh, Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick
If I'm
Lamar, and
wrong, I'm wrong, but I heard people discussing it at work. Kendrick
is
Lamar.
Is Kendrick Lamar the guy that killed everybody, like the Satanist
No,
guy? Oh, okay. So
no, I
who's
think that was Travis Scott,
Travis Scott? That's it.
maybe.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So.
My bad, Kendrick. Don't sue me. Um, yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not a. I mean, we listen to old school rap. We have a playlist called Old School Rap that we play on the way back from T-Man. It's like Tupac and Snoop. It's like a bunch of stuff from the
Mhm.
'90s. I just don't. I'm not a
50
huge
Cent.
fan. Yeah, 50. I'm not a. I mean, I like 50, but that was still a long time ago when he was
Yeah.
kind of in his heyday. So I'm just not a huge fan of the new stuff. So I won't. I probably won't be watching the halftime show. I probably won't watch much of the game, to be honest. The reason that she really hates the Chiefs, and I'll put us on blast. We live in Lubbock,
Yeah.
Texas, and for Texas fans, y'all probably say, "Man, how in the hell do you live in Lubbock? That place is a dump." And I will say, the city is not that bad. It is very far away from everything else, which does
Yeah.
make it tough to travel to things. It takes us 5.5, 6 hours to get down to Austin in a car, and you can't fly straight hardly from Lubbock to Austin. I mean, they have them, but they're weird times. It's not not good times to fly down there. So yeah, from that perspective, it is a rough place, and it is windy. Like from December to March, the weather is just god awful. But
It's
I
the
will say
desert.
this:
It's the
it is the
desert.
desert. But the wind is just so bad. But I will say, in the summertime, it's absolutely
Oh
gorgeous.
gosh, beautiful.
One of the only places on earth where it can be 100 plus during the day, and as soon as the sun starts to set, you can be outside, and you're not still melt. I remember we used to live in Kempner, Texas. We used to live just west of Fort Hood before we moved here, and we had a really nice patio, a nice deck out there behind the house.
Never used it.
Never, because it was so hot. I mean, it would be 90 something degrees at 10 o'clock at night. So I can say that. And I will say, the people here in Lubbock, some of the nicest folks you'll ever meet, unless you're in the stadium with them wearing
Oh,
burnt
I know.
orange,
God.
which when we go in the stadium, that's what we're wearing. So So I get it. I can understand why somebody that lives in Austin, grew up in Austin, wouldn't like Lubbock. But I do think this place does have some redeeming value. But anyway, it's turned into a Kansas City Chiefs like hub of
Yes.
fandom. You look up and down our neighborhood streets, probably right now. I haven't done it, but there's probably Chiefs like lawn flags everywhere in our neighborhood right now. I think that's why you hate it. Is that why you hate the Chiefs?
Well, yeah, because all these people before Patrick Mahomes was their quarterback, guess what flags they were flying in their front yard? Cowboys.
Cowboys.
And all of a
Wow.
sudden Patrick Mahomes becomes their quarterback and it's like diehard Chiefs Chief fans. Like,
Since day
give
one,
me a
right?
break. I mean, I am excited when a Longhorn fan gets, drafted and is successful in the NFL, but I'm unless they're for the unless we're on the Cowboys, like I'm not changing teams. I don't
Fair enough.
care how big and bad you are. Like the Cowboys are my team. I'm not ever going to change. I don't care if Quinn or whoever went to play for whatever team, the Cowboys are my team. And I will root against you regardless if you're a Longhorn or not. And that's just the thing that frustrates me. It's like as soon as he got, drafted, it was everybody became a Chiefs fan. And that's just, I just cannot stand it.
I get it. So I know you hate both these teams, but if pressed, gun to head, who do you want to win this game? Like if you just had to pick a
So,
team to win this game, who would it be?
so that's two different questions. So who do I want? I don't want either of them to win. I wish it
Right, but
ended in a tie,
I'm saying if
whatever.
someone came to you and said,
If
"I don't give a
I had
shit."
to
No, 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 no. Stop. I'm not I'm saying someone
this is
told you
hard.
you have to want a team to win. Who would it be? And I
I don't
know
want a team to win.
I
If I
get it,
had
but
to choose which team was winning,
no, no,
was
no, no, no.
gonna win, it's the
That's
Chiefs.
okay. So you think
I can't ever say the Eagles are gonna win.
fair enough,
Can't
fair
can't
enough.
just can't do it.
So she's not gonna. She doesn't want either team to win. But she thinks the Chiefs will win. So this guy I work with, he starts every meeting around this time of year asking about who's going to win the Super Bowl or who's going to win the national championship. It's just he just does like a little round robin thing just for fun. What I like, I'll say this. I think the Chiefs probably will win, but I think if the Eagles can get the running game going, I really like Saquon Barkley. That guy is a really good player. I like that offensive line for Philadelphia. So if they can run the ball, I think they've got a shot. And if he can bust some big plays in that running game, then I think they have a real good shot. I don't want anybody to win either because again, I just don't care. I mean, I'm going for the food, the drinks, and the fellowship with the friends. But yeah, I just don't care about the game.
What about
If I get,
Worthy?
I would like to see Worthy score a touchdown. A lot of people may not know this. Xavier Worthy has an opportunity, and so does Charles Omenihu. He plays for the Chiefs as well. He's a defensive player, though. A Texas Longhorn has never scored in the Super Bowl ever.
Really?
Nothing. Not a
Oh,
kick. Not an extra point. Not a touchdown. Not a safety. Nothing. Zero Texas. Man, I gotta check. I've seen that all over Twitter all day today. I just can't imagine that cannot be right? Like somebody would have had to have
I
done it,
don't know.
but nonetheless,
But
that's the
somebody has a
story.
chance to make history though tonight.
Exactly. So Xavier Worthy does, and I would love to see him score a touchdown. I'd love to see Charles Omenihu like sack somebody for a safety or pick up a fumble, run it in, whatever. I'd be happy for either one of those guys. So yeah, other than that, I just don't care. I'll be excited to see how those Longhorns play in this game, but other than that, I'm with you. Just really don't care. College baseball right around the corner. It's
Mm.
officially college baseball week. All the teams will start playing baseball on Friday, as a
Oh
matter of
wow.
fact. So that is good news. We're huge baseball fans. Now we have been mostly high school baseball fans
Yeah,
for the
it's like
last 4 years, and we
little
have
league
not.
in high school.
Yeah. We've been chasing our son around since I don't know. He was 5 years old, basically straight through to the time he graduated. I think there was one season where he didn't play baseball, and so we've been huge baseball fans. But now we don't have that anymore. So we both said last week, we're adopting the Texas Longhorns going forward for baseball. Those are going to be our adopted sons that we'll keep track of it. Should we do a romantic Valentine's Day weekend getaway in Arlington this weekend, babe, to go watch the Longhorns at the Shriner college classic.
Oh, you're throwing this on me. You haven't even
I
passed
know,
this
I am.
by me.
I am. I'm throwing it out there for the show.
I mean, can we team am on Friday night?
So here's the problem. I would love to go. That the problem is they play Saturday or they play Friday night at 7. They play Saturday night at 7, and then they play Sunday night at like
Oh,
6 o'clock. So it's almost really we'd be getting up there for one game.
yeah.
And as much as I want to do that, I just can't seem to justify to myself. Even if I was going by myself, I just feel like I even looked at flights. I was like, if I fly early Saturday morning, maybe I can catch a flight after the last game on Sunday, still get home at like a reasonable time, not like super reasonable, but somewhat reasonable time. And they just don't have the flights to sunny Lubbock. So yeah, I wanted to see what you'd say just to see. I mean, maybe you would have said, we'll just skip Valentine's, babe. We can just
Well,
drive down
we
there Friday
obvi
and go watch games. And
we're
then
not big Valentine's people,
that's
so,
true. That's
I
true.
mean, yeah, you kinda knew what the answer would be to that. We
I
already
know.
know what we're planning on doing on Friday night. We're
I was just
spending it
trying
at
to.
our normal restaurant.
That's right. Yeah, we're not going to do anything special. I don't know. We'll see what we do. We'll see. We'll see what happens between now and Friday. You just never know what we might do.
Mm,
You mentioned
spontaneous.
last week you've never been to a Texas baseball game before. What are you
S
most excited about to experience about Texas baseball as we
so
as we do get to go do that and you get to do that and experience that this year?
so correct me if I'm wrong, but I was thinking about it. I don't think I've ever been to a college baseball game, period.
You haven't. I've
I have
taken
not.
Braden. Yeah, I've taken Braden several times when Texas would come up here. While we moved to Lubbock, we would come up here, and I took him a few times when we were down in Central Texas to go watch games.
Yeah.
But you have not gone.
No.
You've never gone with us.
I mean, I've watched baseball from T-ball to coach pitch to I mean, just little league to travel ball to high school to major leagues. I have
Yep.
never watched a college baseball game. So I'm really excited just to kind of see the environment and how that whole vibe is with the college scene. I've never been. So like I said, you've gone, but I've always given you the opportunity to like take the kids to do things while, I'm busy doing something else. And so I've kind of missed out on that, but I'm excited just to experience it, honestly.
Yeah, I think I haven't. Well, I take that back. Me and Braden have gone to Omaha twice when the Longhorns went, and that was a really good time. Now the environment for that not going to be probably the same thing you're going to see at a normal type of game at Dish Falk Field, but we're going to a couple of series at home between Texas and the Aggies, who are the number one ranked team in the country right now preseason, and the LSU Tigers, who I believe are number 3 in the country right now preseason ranked. Those are going to be wild venues. I think that's going to be. I mean, I've talked to a lot of baseball guys the last couple weeks on the show, the bullpen that we do just about baseball, about the SEC schedule and these SEC teams coming and playing a weekend series against SEC teams now that we're in the SEC. And that's some big boy baseball. Everybody talks about the football in the SEC, but the baseball is amazing. They've won 5 straight national championships, 5 straight College World Series champions have come out of the SEC. 3 of those 5 series had 2 SEC teams in the final playing each other. So it is, in the last 10 years, the SEC has just become a juggernaut in baseball. And it only got better when Texas and Oklahoma, who both have really good baseball tradition, joined the conference as well. So there's going to be like I think the atmosphere is going to be a lot like super regionals. And I know you have no idea what a super regional is, but the way the tournament works is they split, they bring in 64 teams and 16 teams host a regional. No, wait, 32 teams host. No, it is 16 teams. 16 teams host a regional. And then whoever wins those games, they're paired with another regional in the bracket. So 4 teams at each regional play like a round robin thing. One team will win. Then they'll play the winner of another regional in what's called a super regional at a home site. So like let's say Texas and I don't know, Stanford are hosting their own regional and they both win their regional. Whoever's the highest seeded team would then host the Super Regional, and that'd be a 3-game series at Stanford if they were the higher ranked team. And whoever wins those goes to Omaha, becomes one
Mm.
of the final 8 teams that go to Omaha. So they're big time deal. And so I think you're going to see some of these home series in the SEC are going to be pretty wild. Now, Arkansas fans, LSU fans, A&M fans probably now, it hasn't always been that way, but now that they have tasted some really good success in college baseball, they're going to be fired up for those series. They're going to be fired up to come to Austin and kind of be a part of that. I mean, they want to kick the shit out of Texas as bad as they ever have, but now it kind of really means something because in the SEC it just means more, right? So it's going to be fun. I'm really fired up to see because I've been to games at the Dish before, but I think the games I've been to, I mean, I think I was there one time when they played Kansas State. I think I took Braden one time to watch TCU or something like that. And it was just kind of, I mean, it was fun. It's a baseball game, right? You sit, it's relaxing. You're watching the game, having some drinks, eating some crappy food, whatever. But the excitement just not really there. I think you're in for a treat when we go to some of these big series. So I'm interested to see what that looks like. Now, we talk about baseball. What is the most exciting play in baseball? Like, what is the thing that happens in baseball that really gets you
Oh,
like just fired up?
you don't see it much, but I love a good pickle.
A good pickle.
Like,
Okay.
yes, you don't see it much, but I love that. And
She's talking
I
about a rundown, guys.
yeah,
A
a
rundown.
rundown. You're getting a pickle. And then another thing, and because my son played outfield, is I call it Mr. Steal Your Girl. Like when they make a good catch, like I just like ruined your good hit because I
Yeah.
freaking took that ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Those are fun.
I love a good outfield. Like, oh my gosh, look at that catch. Those are the two things that I really
Yeah.
like.
A lot of people would probably say like home run or something like that, which I like to watch the home runs, but they happen a
Yeah,
lot today. I
yeah,
mean, a lot of these guys are big kids and they've got a lot of power and the game's just kind of changed, man. It's all become really get the ball elevated and try to get it out into the gaps and hit it over the wall. And so we see a lot of that today. I mean, we saw a ton of those in high school the last couple of years, just a really
yeah.
insane amount of home runs. So, um, for me though, I think one that a lot of people don't talk about. I love to see a guy in the outfield throw the ball in and get somebody out on the
Oh,
bases.
yeah, that's good too.
Those
Yeah.
to me, those are like plays that don't happen all the time. So,
Mhm.
and some people probably say double play as well. And I think some double plays can be really exciting just given the circumstances. Depends on the situation of the game. It also depends on, how hard the play was, I think. But man, I think an outfielder that like runs a ball like a base hit down and gets it in and gets a guy out trying to steal an extra bag on the base path. Those are super exciting to me. But yeah, I like the outfield Mr. Steal Your Girl plays
That's what I
too.
always called it.
We've
I
seen
don't
some
know.
yeah, we've seen some really good plays out in the outfield. And this Texas team has 3 really good outfielders, so I think there's going to be a lot of good girlfriends getting stole and stuff like that out in the outfield this year. Zach Sim of OB.com, OrangeBloods.com. We had him on the bullpen last week. We'll have him again Monday night at 6:30 p.m. and that'll be a live show. He thinks the ceiling for this Texas team is a super regional. So in other words, that round, like right before all, the final 8 teams get to Omaha is where he thinks this Texas team might end up. That'd be fun to go to. Like, what if
Yeah.
they ended up at like a super regional at Arkansas or a super regional at LSU or even Florida or something like that? Would that be something you'd be down to go to?
Yeah, definitely.
Why would you be down to go to it? Just because of the baseball, the excitement? I mean,
Yeah. I don't the thing is now we can be so spontaneous. Like
that's right.
our kids are grown and we've never had that luxury of going, that sounds good, let's do it. So it's that part of it is just exciting and I love sports and I definitely love Texas sports. So
There you go. So Texas baseball, get yourselves to the super regionals, and we might be there. And you know what that means. We're gonna be at the Las Vegas Classic in a couple weeks. I'm
oh, I'm
excited about
excited.
that one. Yeah,
Mhm.
that'll be fun. I don't know how great the baseball will be. I mean, I think the Texas versus Tech game will be a fun game. Obviously, those have always been fun games. As many, I mean, we've been to a few me and Braden have been to a few here at Tech, and they always seem to be pretty rowdy, pretty
Yeah.
fun. So that the Tech fans, they like to beat Texas, so they're pretty good time. I think it'll be fun again in Vegas, and then they play Washington and Illinois, which I think those teams will be fired up to play baseball. Obviously, they'll be in a place that's not below zero and all that stuff where they can be outside and play baseball. So that'll be fun. I think it'll be a good time. We're not huge Vegas people, but we've got a couple
No.
shows
Yeah.
lined up. We're gonna go eat. What's that place we're gonna go eat at? The place where the Jersey Shore people always go when they're in
Oh
Vegas,
gosh.
the
I
Italian
don't know.
place.
But I wanted to do that steak place, but they didn't have any
Yeah,
spots. I wish I could remember the name of that, but it's supposed to be like the oldest steakhouse. But yeah,
there's a really
we
good
missed out
steakhouse
on that
there.
one. The
Yeah,
reservations.
they do walk-ins if we want to go stand there when they open up. They do walk-ins, so
Yeah.
there could be a chance. Who knows? What about if the Longhorns advance to the College World Series? I know I've bugged you about this
Oh
before.
my god.
Yeah, that's a long time, but man, Omaha,
Ugh.
Nebraska, a great place. The games are great. You got to make a decision. If they advance to the College World Series, what are we doing?
I don't know. I don't like to sweat and be hot like that
They got
bad.
they got beer
I mean, I
and
know I do it during football, but I
that's
don't
right. And
know.
you're gonna
It's
do it.
just
You're gonna do it during
we'll see.
baseball.
We'll see how these games go, like
Well,
how
I
the
had
environment is.
I had hotel booked from like anytime I think about it, I go, well, let me book a hotel
Yeah,
up
that's
there
the
in
first thing
Omaha.
you gotta do, to be fair. Everything
Yeah.
else falls into place.
So I had one booked, and then me and her were talking one day, and she's like, I don't think we'd go to that or whatever. So I canceled it. But then the other day, I booked hotel again. So we
Oh,
have hotel
okay.
for when this happens. When the Longhorns advance, we've got hotel. So yeah, we're excited about Texas baseball. May or may not get over to Arlington. I know Mark and the guys at Occupy Left Field are going to be there. Chris Phillips from SEC Unfiltered is going to be there as well. He's making that part of his SEC Unfiltered tour for baseball. And what a life that dude's living. He gets to go. That's all he does now. Every weekend he goes to a football game, a basketball game, or baseball in the SEC. So he'll be there, I'm pretty sure, to watch Texas and Ole Miss play. And he'll probably take in the whole weekend. But anyway, it'll be a good time. If you're in the Dallas area and you've got a day, and just head on over to the ballpark. Tickets are really reasonable. They have, I think, all of the like sort of spiffy behind the home plate club level type tickets are gone, which that was a kind of a deal too, because you get like access to the club and certain drinks and different food menu and stuff like that. So that would have been kind of cool. But they have tons of general admission, and that place won't be packed, and it'll be reasonably priced. So if you're in Dallas area and you want to go watch some baseball, which I would if I was in the Dallas area, I would definitely go to all of these games. Go over there and check it out. We talk about memories all the time. We talk about, I mean, I've talked about it on just when I'm on my shows, doing my shows, like just some of the fun memories I've had and we've had as we go to some of these places and go and watch games, and we've really ramped that up a lot. I mean, we've done things in the past, but like you said, the kids are older now. We've really
Yeah.
ramped that up. We've been given an opportunity to travel, so we've tried to take advantage of that as much as we could. We went to Tuscaloosa a couple years ago. We did the Sugar Bowl last year. We did, or 2 seasons ago, we did Ann Arbor last season. That was a really fun trip. Headed up to Columbus, very first weekend of the season this year. What's been well, first of all, not your favorite road trip, but what's been your most favorite thing about the travel we have done? Like if you had to take one thing from kind of each place and say
Oh,
it was all the same thing. Like it was fun to do this. What was it? And let me give you an example because maybe I'm confusing you.
yeah. You threw a lot at me right there.
That's what I do.
I'm day drinking. I can't think that quick.
I know,
Okay.
I know. So
Slow it down.
what I'm talking about is like for me, it's meeting the fans of other teams. Like so when we go to all these places, I've really enjoyed having conversations with some of the fans.
Yes. So I think I understood the assignment because the first thing that came to mind was Alabama. I had the most fun there because I feel like they were the most welcoming to tailgate with. Um, and it was a just good experience, and not just that we freaking won, and it was a good road trip, but and we did go by car to that one, and I mean, it was fun. It was just fun getting to be in the car and getting to do that, uh, whole thing, and but the tailgating experience there was, I mean, the people, and that's just like the Southern hospitality, you
Mhm.
cannot beat that. I mean, they were so welcoming, and it was just a lot of fun to tailgate down there. And even though we came into their their territory and we won, and we didn't know what to expect going in there. And so I felt like it was a surprise to win. Even after the game, the fans were a very class act, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed that whole experience. Beautiful campus,
Mhm.
and, side note, we got to be really close to College game day because I guess Alabama gets to do it all the time, so it wasn't a big
Yeah.
hoopla for them.
Yeah.
So we got to get up really close and kinda get to experience that where we've never got to experience it really close anywhere else. So, um, that whole experience was a lot of fun, and their fans were
Yeah.
amazing.
You know, you mentioned the fans. I had very little problem with any of the fans. The only I had one young kid say something to me
Oh,
while we were tailgating. And I'm not like I mean, you can say a lot of stuff to me and I don't get offended. He just kind of like got a little ridiculous about it, which I don't appreciate. I didn't like say anything back, or I'm not trying to fight no, and I say a kid. I mean, this is
well,
like
he
a
was
college
a
kid.
frat boy. I mean,
But then
come on.
inside the
Any
stadium,
any frat boy.
some of the frat
Yeah.
daddies like kind of
Yeah.
got after me a little bit, and
Yeah.
but it was fine. But other than that, it was great. And matter of fact, you mentioned we drove all the way from Lubbock, Texas to not Tuscaloosa, but I believe we stayed in Columbus, Mississippi. I
Missouri or
believe
oh,
is
yeah,
the town
Mississippi.
right
Yeah.
there on the border
Yeah.
between. It's about an hour from Tuscaloosa, so it's right there on the eastern border of Mississippi. We drove to Shreveport, spent the night, did some. Well, we tried to go gamble. We suck at gambling. We're
Oh
not
gosh,
gambling
we
people.
hate
We're
it.
not. We're
That's
not
why we're not
casino
Vegas
people.
people either. It's like,
Exactly.
we're just not a fan of that.
So then we
Yeah.
got up, drove into Mississippi. We did all that. So that was fun. Just taking the trip, doing the TikTok videos and stuff like that while we're headed that way. I had a good time doing, and it was just fun. It was just a fun road trip, and we hadn't had an opportunity. And I think the last time we really did a road trip like that was a long time ago. So that was fun.
Oh,
But
yeah,
but
it's been a minute.
but we drove, we drove to Tuscaloosa game day morning, got up early, got ready, head that way. And I'm talking, I parked the truck, and
Oh,
I get
yeah.
out of the truck, and immediately this guy walks
Yes.
up to me and says, "Hey, welcome to Alabama. If you have any questions, let me know. A bus will stop right here. It'll take you over to the quad and da da da." Which I already knew a lot of this stuff, but I just thought it was cool that this guy I mean, he like saw me and sought me out, and just came and had this conversation with me. So that he's like, if you have any questions, let me know. I was like, that I appreciate it, man. That's really cool. So we ride the bus over to the quad. We're kind of wandering around, not sure where to go. We see the game day group, and I was like, well, let's just go over there by game day, and we'll kind of figure out, we'll crack a beer and kind of figure out what's next. We brought like a little styrofoam cooler or something like that. And so we go sit down, and I set the cooler down, grabbed a beer, and stood up. And there was like a line of guys in Alabama stuff just there to shake my hand and tell me welcome to Alabama. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I've never been unfriendly to visiting fans. Like I'm not a shit talker guy. I'm not gonna like run my mouth at visiting fans, but that was a really good example of like how to be hospitable to people that are visiting. And so now I make it a point, and it was really cool this year. We only got to what we went to the Florida game, we went to the Clemson game for the playoff. And I
Yeah.
think those were the only two home games we went to,
Georgia.
right? No, Georgia. We went to the
Yeah. We
Georgia
like to
game.
forget about that one, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. But I made it a point when I saw people wearing the other team's gear to just ask them, are you here from Florida? Are you here from South Carolina? And always tell them welcome to Texas. So good example by those Bama fans of
Yeah.
just really being friendly. So I enjoyed that immensely. I thought that was awesome. I think I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I definitely think that was my favorite road trip
It
out of all of them.
it was mine too. Yep, that was mine too. It was a lot of fun. And honestly, I, you know, we say what we say about them being nice and all that, and well, I don't think that would have changed. But I think what made it the most fun road game is just we won a game that I went into going, I don't know what's going to happen. I have
Yeah.
no idea. Like, this is
Yeah, it was
scary.
fun.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, and then to see the fans leaving the stadium early, I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
It
this
was a fun
it
experience.
was the best feeling.
Yeah, I mean, we got to go to a really cool historic place, and we played a
Yes.
team that's kind of been running college football for the last
Yes.
decade plus,
Yeah.
and so it was a good time.
It
Great
was
from a historical
all
perspective.
around good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we talked about the best moments. What? Oh, and back up a little bit for me.
Oh,
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, there's like being there moments, and I think that Tuscaloosa game was a really fun one. But there's also just moments in general as a Texas Longhorn fan. And I think for me, that 2005 national championship game was a really big moment for me because it kind of it brought everything to a head. I think Texas fans were just like dying to win a national championship and knew that we had so much talent, even the teams that before that, before that 2005 team were really talented teams and just could not ever get it done. And so winning that one in a season where they go up to Ohio, they beat Ohio State at home, they beat the brakes off of the Oklahoma Sooners in the Red River Shootout, and I believe that ended what it was a pretty
I don't
good
know.
drought of games of victories against Oklahoma. So I don't think they'd beaten Oklahoma maybe in 4 or 5 years leading up to that one. So that was a big one. I was at that one. That was a good time. I was there by myself, but it was a great time.
Why
What
were
are
you
your
there by yourself?
Oh, because I bought a ticket and rode up there, and you had to stay with the kids.
Yeah, how old were our kids?
Shit, Braden was like a few weeks old, and Mackenzie was
Yeah.
3 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yeah. So not even
Living your
3 yet.
best life.
That's right. I was living my best life. And my special lady friend stayed at home and
Yes.
made that possible for me. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's talk. You wanted to say something about best memories.
So, best we talk about the games and travel experience, but I have to one of the best experiences is the tailgating and the people you meet along the way and the experiences and the friendships you make um, when you all have something in common. And one thing in common is football and specifically the Longhorns. And some friends we've made over the years and we still continue to maintain friendships with and just kind of started reconnecting with them this last year and tailgating again with them this last year. But uh we you put it up there that the Texas Tailgate Company with Jeff Dillard is kind of where our tailgating all started. And
Hmm.
we had very young kids uh at the time, and we would get parents who were 4 to 6 hours away to come help and watch the kids. And we weren't going on trips, where we were going. We wanted them to come down and watch the kids, so we'd go to a football game
Right.
and hang out and tailgate with our friends. And that is one of the best memories and best experiences I can, that I can remember from
Yeah.
football. And still to this day, the tailgating whole thing, and we still continue to meet new people
Yeah.
who we keep in touch with. So that's a lot of fun, and those that group of friends means a lot to us. And
Yeah,
I don't
I've
know.
talked about that on the show a lot, especially as we come up to Red River Shootout week. A lot of our we don't get a chance to go to a lot of home games, and before the Red River Shootout, we're probably not going to any home games, just
Yeah,
because the schedule's not. For us,
yeah,
it's like we're gonna
it's
we'll travel, but we want to travel for all the good games, right? So
yeah, yeah. I mean, if we live closer, of course, but when
sure.
yeah, we're so
Well,
far
a lot of
away.
times, the first time we get to see any of our old buddies is at the Red River Shootout, and so I've talked about that on the show a lot. And it was funny after this last year. We met a friend and her son, and we went to the game together and all that. And then we were leaving the game, and I said, well, let's go get some more beer and figure out what we're going to do. So we go into the little, the little concession area, the closed in building that they have all the restaurants, or I guess they're not restaurants, but the little stands. There's a really good beer stand in there that's got good prices, coupon prices. So anyway, we go in there, we grab a beer, we walk out front, and it was funny. We walked out and we saw some friends of ours that we used to see at this tailgate that we hadn't seen, and shit, I don't remember the last time we saw them. And we just stood there and shot the shit with them for about an hour and made plans for the Georgia game and all that stuff. So yeah, it's always, you never know who you're going to find, except I always know no matter where I go, I'm going to find, man, I can't think of his name. The guy that does the tailgate, he's the electrician dude, or the guy that
Watts.
Yeah, Jason Watts. I'm always gonna find Jason Watts at some game. We saw him at Michigan. We saw him at we didn't see him in Tuscaloosa, did we?
I don't think so.
We saw him at the Sugar Bowl, I'm pretty sure, at the Sugar Bowl, one of the watch parties or something, like the pregame party or something. Yeah, we did. We saw him there. So yeah, we always run into Jason Watts. But yeah, he's kind of taking over the tailgate. For those of y'all that don't know, Texas Tailgate Company, just a guy, Jeff Dillard. He's in that middle picture there with my special lady friend. He used to do a massive tailgate right there by where the Moody Center is now. There was a parking lot. And this guy had, you can see it. You can see the truck behind both of us in that picture on the right.
Yeah.
This guy had a big box van that he just filled with stuff to bring to this tailgate. And it was like a to-do. I mean, he cooked, he had beer sponsors. It was a blast. And I mean, at a big game, there'd probably be 300 or 400 people there, as you started getting close to game time at this tailgate. So we met a ton of people. Obviously, Jeff has since passed away.
Yeah.
But a lot of those guys still tailgate, and Jason Watts, one of the guys that has one where a lot of these guys go. And so we've frequented that the last few home games, and again, great time. So yeah, we love there's more to football than just the football and the beer and all. It's the friendships and stuff like that have been really good stuff for us.
Yeah, and we always see Eugene and Jerry. They're
right.
part of that group too. So yeah, good friends.
Yeah, good times. Worst moment. Worst Texas sports memory.
I ain't gonna lie, you kind of prepared me for some of the questions you're gonna ask. So this one really was hard for me to relive, and it's still hard for me to talk about because God, it was such a hard game for me to sit through. And it was it 2021? I had to look it up what year it was, but 2021, the Texas OU game.
Yeah, that was a pretty
Red
bad one.
River Shootout.
That's right. Yeah, that's the one where we got the big lead, pissed it away, lost at the end. Yeah, that was a tough one.
Oh, it was horrible. I mean,
and it was hot.
How bad we pissed it away. It was hot. And just all the things that just happened. We were drinking a lot. Hot
the first quarter lasted like an hour and a half, I think. Like the game, like we got this huge lead, but then the game just wouldn't be over, and we just did enough stuff to let Oklahoma be back in it. Obviously, yeah, that was a rough one. That would be definitely in my top 10 for sure. Just off the cuff,
horrible.
Like so yeah, that one was bad. For me, I think a couple that I wasn't. Well, I couldn't have been at these because. I could have been at the championship game, but I wasn't. But getting left out of the 2008 championship game was a tough one.
Oh yeah.
Just the way all that happened was a rough deal. And then I think Colt going down in the 2009 championship game was also a pretty rough memory for a Texas football fan. My in-person one, and you were at this one, the 2001 Big 12 title game, where we had beaten Colorado in the regular season like 41-13 or something. Just beat the brakes off of them. We go into, what was it called back then? Texas Stadium. Is that what the Cowboy Stadium used to be called
Oh
back in the day?
gosh, I don't
Texas Stadium? I
remember.
think it was. Yeah, it was Texas Stadium. We went to the old Texas Stadium before they tore that down to play Colorado in the Big 12 championship
That was
game,
2021?
2001.
Oh, I was like, "What?" Okay,
Yeah,
2001. I
yeah.
was like,
So we were
okay."
kids. We didn't even have kids yet.
No, we did
That's
not.
how kiddie we were. So
Yeah.
yeah, we go to that game with some friends of ours, and Texas just melts down and loses it. And they had an opportunity. If they'd have won that game, they would have played in a national championship that year. They probably wouldn't have
Yeah.
won it, but they would have made it. And so that one was a heartbreaker just because of the way it happened. A lot of turnovers in that game for us, and Colorado just kind of lined up and ran the ball down our throats and did some stuff they really hadn't done all season. It was kind of a Hail Mary for them. We're just gonna bring in like 67 tight ends and run the ball the whole game, and they did, and they did it just well enough to get us beat. So that was a rough one for me, but definitely that 2021 Red River Shootout was a rough one. Not a fun. We left after that, right? Like we just
Well,
drove home that day, didn't we?
yes. So, we had a hard time connecting after that game because we were so pissed. You were in the stands pissed. I went down to the
That's
concourse
right.
because I was
That's
so
right.
freaking hot and pissed off, and
Yeah.
I just left. I think I just left you, and you're like, "Where did she go?" And I just sat down there and just in a on the cool pavement and just watched it, through the little
Right.
concourse
Yeah.
and just hearing the OU fans cheer and cheer and cheer. And then at the end of the game, of course, we can't connect. We can't get a hold of each other.
Right.
So then that created a whole nother frustration. And then we kind of reconnected and then we're like, screw this. We're
Let's
supposed to stay. We're
let's just
going
go home.
home. We're
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. So we drove home
Yeah.
from Dallas, and rough time.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you can't really appreciate the good times if you don't have to go through the hard times, and that's
And
in anything, and it's certainly in sports.
yeah, remember that we saw that fight at the end of that game
Yes,
with
yes, that was great. Tell the story of the fight, and I'll clean it up.
I don't
Tell everybody what you remember about the fight.
This was before we stayed downtown and did the
Yep,
what's it
did the
called? The
train thing.
to
Yeah,
train. So we would park in the thing and have to take the little
tram thing.
tram to our
Yeah,
car. And man, I don't know what somebody's wife said to somebody else's wife, but the
I
wives were
think
fighting, the
I think it.
husbands were fighting,
I think
and
what
we're
touched
just
it
like,
off
let's
is
just go.
one of the guys said something to one of the guys' wife,
Oh man.
which is understandable
Oh.
to want to correct depending on what it was. I didn't hear any of this. Like we were waiting in line for the tram, and all of a sudden you start hearing all this kind of just loud talk off to the side a little bit. So of course you look over there and it's these two guys arguing, and don't talk to my wife like that type of
Mm,
stuff. And again, I have no idea what happened, but they kind of argue back and forth, and then it almost looked like they separated.
mhm.
And then as the tram pulled up, everybody's getting on the tram to get out to the parking lot, and one of them is on the tram, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden they start going back at it again,
They get
arguing.
off.
And I was just like, I screamed out like, I don't give a shit what you do.
Leave them, leave
Like,
them. We're
just
going.
get the
Let's
fuck
go.
off the train
Yeah.
so we can go.
Yeah.
And I don't, again, don't see like a lot of it. It was further up, and all of a sudden as the tram does go, we go for about, I don't know, maybe 50 yards, 100 yards, and you see cops have them all
But
throwed over the
you
police cars and putting cuffs on them.
you know what was the most funny about that though is they were and this is just a stereotype thing of what I'm saying, but they were the most well put together people.
Yeah,
So you would never think that they would
yeah, yeah. I mean,
be
they looked like
like physically
like
fighting each other.
just dudes
It,
from the burbs.
yes, it was
Yeah,
so weird.
yeah, that was pretty
But
funny.
yeah,
That's a funny story.
it was a rough.
I, I just remember like almost wanting to get in a fight with them myself, just because
Yeah,
I just wanted to get to my vehicle. But
yeah.
uh, is what it
Obviously,
is.
it was a rough game for other people, not just us, so
Yeah, that's
but yeah.
true.
But
Alcohol, losing, and somebody winning and running their mouth
yeah,
can sometimes not
yeah.
mix well.
But so we talked about games, like the worst experience. I would like to highlight one of my worst experiences at
Okay,
a
do it.
football game.
Do it. You're a
Uh,
contributor now. You're a contributor on the Horn Takes podcast. So
the 2005 Open Seasoner. Did I say that
season
right?
opener.
Season
Season
opener.
opener.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that's the day drinking in me. Okay.
There you
The
go.
season opener. Uh, so probably beginning of September, I would
Yep.
imagine.
Yep. First week of
Uh,
September. First weekend of
who
September.
who did we play?
It was Louisiana Lafayette. I forgot what they're. I think they're the Cajuns or the
Okay.
Raging Cajuns, or I don't
So,
know. It doesn't matter.
needless
Louisiana
to say,
Lafayette.
we probably won by a lot, right?
Yeah, we
On
did.
that
It
one, I
was it
think.
was a blowout. I was like 55-0 or something like
Okay.
that.
Well, that was the worst experience. I was 9 months pregnant, and so that was the beginning of September. I had our son September 15th,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to that game.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a almost 3-year-old come with
Mm-hmm.
us, and we did not know she was scared of the
Of the cannon.
cannons
Yeah.
at that time. But you can imagine if they scored, what you said, 55, whatever,
It was a
how many
bunch. It was a
how
lot
many
of points.
times that cannon went
Yeah.
off. So, I had to pee. I was blown up pregnant, having to go up and down, crying 3-year-old every time the cannon went off. Yeah, I don't even think we stayed through halftime on that one.
We did
It
not. We left at halftime. Granddaddy and Gigi were with us, and Granddaddy did an awesome job of
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to keep
To
trying
yeah.
to keep Ken's in a good spot. But
She
I
could
think
still hear it, yeah.
right. I think probably the worst thing about all that was we had season tickets in the West Side Upper Deck in section
Yeah.
109.
Let them know how far I walked 9 months
40
pregnant.
row 45 is where our tickets were. So
Oh my god.
yeah, I mean you're in space. If you sit that high up at Darrell K. Royal, the flyovers go underneath you
Yeah.
when the planes fly through. I mean that's how high. I mean
I
it's
remember
up there and
people
it's a hike.
helping me walk
Yeah.
up
Yeah, so
because
she
they're
was a
like, "Oh my
trooper.
god, she's gonna fall."
Yeah, so
But yeah,
it
that
wasn't
was the worst experience.
it
Uh,
wasn't a week or two later. Our son was born.
September
He
15th.
was yeah, he's
Yep.
born down in Austin. What was the name of the hospital?
North Austin Medical Center,
North Austin
which
Medical Center.
shout out, very good experience.
That's right. It
Yeah.
was a good experience. And I believe we brought him home on a Saturday
On a
morning,
Saturday, yep.
and I turned around and went back to Austin and watched Texas and Rice play. Me and Granddaddy went, and you were
Yep.
all for it.
Yep.
You were
Let
like,
them
"Get out of
know.
my hair, dude."
Yep.
Yeah,
I had
so
my mom and my dad with me,
that's
so
right.
I said, "Go have fun. There's no
Yeah,
point in you being here, you can't do anything, so
exactly. So I
go
got a
watch a
little
football
break,
game."
although I probably didn't need one, but that's what we did, and we had a good time. So we're talking about the traveling roadshow. By the way, the traveling roadshow is just something I call like all these trips we go on and stuff. And I got to figure out a way to do it better. So I'll be working on that for this year's football season. And maybe we'll have a little bit of stuff for some of these baseball things we go to. But where would you really like to go at all the like sort of SEC stops, or maybe anywhere? What is a place that kind of excites you and you think, man, I would really like to go visit that place for a weekend, go to a football game, or maybe it's baseball game, whatever. What's that look like for you?
I don't know if and when it'll happen, or I'm sure it will eventually, but because it's happened before, but Notre Dame would be a fun one. You
That's
told me
coming.
how you got to experience that with Braden.
Yeah, that's coming.
And honestly, because I love that area a little bit too much, but I think it'd be cool to go. I wish they play Penn State. I would like to go up there to watch a game, but
Fair
those are
enough.
my 2 things. SEC, I'm like,
She's a Big Ten fan in disguise,
yeah,
y'all. That's
SEC, there's, like, no place I wanna go to really watch an SEC like, Austin is
Baton Rouge.
I'm oh,
Not for the
Louisiana?
city, but the food. Indiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Louisiana, that's why I said
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Oh, I thought you said Indiana.
No, I said Louisiana.
The food's gonna be good, and
You like that food, I don't like that kind of food.
what's wrong with you?
Speaking of food,
All right.
can we talk about food?
Talk about food. You're a contributor. Contribute.
You know who has had the worst food so far
Who's
out of
had the
all the
worst food?
places we went?
Who?
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. Yeah, the food was
Y'all,
awful in Michigan. If you've never been to Michigan for a football game and you plan to go like have some good food, that's probably
y'all,
not happening.
y'all need to learn how to season your food because it's
Let's not.
bland. It's
That's fair. We probably have a ton of Michigan people listening to the show. We don't want to start a gang war with Michigan people,
no, we
but
don't.
I
Just
would say
come down to Texas and
that's
try some of
you
our
should.
food
And they will be.
and compare.
I think in 2027 Michigan returns that home and home to Austin.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun one that we'll definitely go to early in the season. And all the people from Michigan will get a really good chance to have some real good. The problem
Yes.
with the food in Michigan was it's all the
The
same menu
same.
almost anywhere you go. And she's right.
Pretzels.
There's not a lot of seasoning
Yeah.
on any of this food. So it's just kind of yeah. We did meet some really cool Irish people though in one pub
Oh,
that we
yeah.
stopped at. That was
I will
cool.
say
Some
that. That
real
was really cool.
no shit Irish guys. That was an experience. There's a
Mhm.
TikTok video of me asking them who they thought was going to win and by what score. Go check that out at TikTok, at Horn Fans on TikTok, and you can scroll through the thing and you'll find
Mhm.
it. So that was cool. But yeah, the food not great. Yeah, I would. I want to go to Baton Rouge. I want to go to Death Valley and watch a football game, which we got taken from us by COVID. In
Oh.
2020, we were supposed to do that, but return their home trip
Mhm.
to Austin. They came in 2019, the year they won the national championship. So we were excited about that, but it didn't happen, obviously. So that'll be one I'm looking forward to. Obviously, I want to go check out. I want to go to a lot of the SEC stadiums. I really want to go to Georgia to watch a game between the hedges. Not planning on that this year, but you never know what might happen or what might not happen. So that could be one we go to. I want to go to Tennessee. I think
Oh, I wanna go there too. That
I
I
think
forgot
going to
about
see a
that one.
game in
Yeah.
Knoxville would be a really good time. I want to go to the Swamp, although I think Gainesville, Georgia is not, or excuse me, Gainesville, Florida. I don't think there's much to it, but I want to go to the Swamp and see a game because when I was younger, I dig the Florida colors,
Mhm.
and so I had like Florida Gators hats and stuff like that. So that would be fun for me. So yeah, but I think I mean we've gotten to go to some really cool places. We've been to some of the most historic places in college football. Uh, I mean Tuscaloosa. We've been to Michigan. We're going to go to Ohio State. We've been to the Sugar Bowl, which is a big one. So I think we've been to some places that are kind of cool. And so for us, again, there's a whole lot that goes into it that makes this fun. It's not just the games, it's the friends, it's the food, it's the places. Cool to go to all that stuff. So that's it for this week's. You got anything else you want to talk about before we bounce?
No, I'm good.
We got to go cook
We
some
got a
Super
Super
Bowl food.
Bowl. We
Yeah,
gotta cheer on. Oh wait, we
we
gotta
got to
go see our
cheer.
friends.
We got to go
Yeah,
cheer on commercials. So
yeah.
that's it for this week's episode of Day Drinking. She is my special lady friend. We're gonna get her an X. We're gonna make that happen, and we'll let y'all know where y'all can find her on X. Don't forget about our Texas baseball ticket giveaways throughout the season. Matter of fact, tomorrow night I'm going to have Zach Sim of OrangeBloods.com and Mark from Occupy Left Field on the show, and we're going to give away a pair of tickets to the home opener against the Houston Cougars. And folks, I've got season tickets. I've got 2 pair of season tickets, and I'm not going to be able to go to a lot of stuff. So join the chat your questions, hang out with us on these live streams. Maybe you could even subscribe and do all that stuff, like some stuff. I don't know, whatever y'all want to do. But you hang out, you chat, you get your questions answered, and you might win some tickets to a Texas baseball game. And folks, there's a lot of really good Texas baseball games that we won't be able to get to, and you might be able to get to. When we start doing weekend series, I'm not doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday giveaway. I'm saying you got a pair of tickets to the entire weekend for baseball. So folks, check us out. Tell your friends. You guys get hooked. Have a good Super Bowl Sunday. We're out.